Hello and welcome to Did You Know Gaming Extra. Today we'll be talking about weird Nintendo games that were officially licensed but not developed by Nintendo. Nintendo as a company are known for having a somewhat tight grip over their intellectual properties, but on occasion they've licensed their series to other developers. In recent years this can be seen with titles such as Hyrule Warriors, but Nintendo had made a number of deals which in hindsight they likely regret. Almost everyone knows the original Donkey Kong for what it is, a hit game that spawned a decades-long franchise and resuscitated the video games industry. However, you may not know that Nintendo actually licensed a near-carbon copy of the game. Nintendo was struggling to meet demand of Donkey Kong cabinets and allowed the company Falcon to develop a modified version of the game to help boost their supply. Crazy Kong was designed to run on modified Crazy Climber arcade boards, and even included a number of sound effects from the game when Jumpman runs and jumps. The game also lacked any mention of Nintendo. One condition of Nintendo supplying the license to Falcon was that these cabinets must be made and distributed exclusively in Japan. However, due to the worldwide popularity of Donkey Kong and delays in production, many of these Crazy Kong cabinets started to surface not only in Japan, but in the US and Europe as well. It wasn't long before this flagrant breach of contract came to the attention of Nintendo, who promptly filed a lawsuit against Elcon Industries Incorporated, an arcade hardware manufacturer based in Michigan that sold Crazy Kong boards. This case was swiftly resolved in Nintendo's favor. Falcon also produced a sequel called Crazy Jr., a clone of Donkey Kong Jr. This was done without permission from Nintendo, however, and was met with legal action in the form of a criminal complaint. This led to the arrest of Falcon's president and was the first recorded arrest related to video game copyright in Japan. Surprisingly, even Super Mario Bros. Had a port resembling a bootleg. Super Mario Bros. Special was developed by Hudson Soft and released for the NEC PC8801 and Sharp X1 series of computers in Japan, and later for the Samsung SPC 1500 in South Korea. Though the game strongly resembles its predecessor, the inferior hardware of the PC88 and Sharp X1 meant the game's graphics and audio are both noticeably lacking when compared to the original Super Mario Bros. Game. These versions also did not feature Luigi or a multiplayer mode. The most obvious difference in gameplay is the lack of fluid screen scrolling. In the Sharp X1 version, the developers adopted a Zelda-style screen scrolling, having the screen slide over and lock into place when the player reaches the edge. Whereas on the PC88, the screen simply cuts to black while the next section is loaded. Super Mario Bros. Special features all new and unique levels, making it the first officially licensed follow-up to the original Super Mario Bros. Title, releasing in Japan shortly before Super Mario Bros. 2, known as the Lost Levels in the West. The game features several enemies from the arcade Mario Bros. Game, such as the Sidesteppers and Fighter Flies, though under different names. There are also a number of additional power-ups and items in the game, most notably the hammer power-up from Donkey Kong and Hachisuki, also known as Hooby, the Hudson Soft logo, which awards the player with 8,000 points. Though you may be surprised that Mario had officially appeared in PC games of questionable quality, you may be even more surprised that Pokémon is in the same boat. The Pokémon trading card game swept the world, becoming popular with players and collectors alike. There was even a PC release based on the card game, developed by Fluid Entertainment, published by Wizards of the Coast, and officially licensed by Nintendo. Pokémon Play It became notorious in circles for its terrifying CG host Julie that greets the player at the start of the game. However, its purpose was to teach the mechanics of the trading card game. The title allows the player to compete against Julie with a choice of 4 half decks comprised of 30 cards each: the fighting deck, the fire deck, the water deck, and the extra deck. The game is limited in that Julie will always use the fighting deck unless the player selects it, in which case she will select the water deck instead. The game was successful enough to get an updated release which swapped out the initial decks for 7 new ones and let players place cards on the bench before their first turn started. And for today's random piece of trivia, we'll be taking a look at Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. In the background of the save rooms found throughout the game, the player can see a large pile of rubble. Within the rubble are the remains of Alucard's coffin, featured in the save rooms of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Best game ever. There are 2 more Nintendo videos for you on screen to watch, and if you enjoyed this video, do us a favor and hit the like button because it really helps us out. as you well know. Be sure to subscribe and keep looking up at the stars, waiting for your dreams to come true. Because we all got a dream, and one day we'll make it there, Jimmy. We'll make it.